The hell's wrong with you? Huh? Hey, awesome friends, I am Awesome Danny, and today I want to talk about the Alpha 3, a new earbud by Dunu. But before I tell you about it, I do want to thank HiFiGo for sending this out to me for review. But they didn't tell me what to say, and if they did, then we wouldn't be doing this review. Thanks HiFiGo, you're awesome. Alright, so back to the Alpha 3. It is a $79.99 set. This is a box it came in, and this is the stuff you get in the box. I'll put up the nerd stuff up on the screen for you to take a look. Numbers and things, smart people stuff. But let's take a look at the accessories real quick. So this case is actually really nice. The hard shell case, and I really like the feel of it, quality, and the color. It came with some donut and full foam ear tips. I much prefer the donut foams. You get a nice little cleaning tool, and then you get the earbuds themselves. Cable likes to retain a little bit of memory, but it's good quality. Build feels really solid. I got the 3.5 termination. It's like a brownish bronze color. Got the cable splitter and the chin slider, which I didn't use. I'm not sure who uses those. And then you have the earbuds themselves. The cable is attached, but the build again feels very rugged and solid. The buds are some sort of metal. I believe it's a steel. There is vents on the top of each stem, and then there's this new little pattern that Dunu is using on their gear that I really like. You can see it right there. So that's what you get in the box. Again, the cable is really good quality. It's just, it likes to tangle sometimes or get stuck on itself, and it retains memory, but using it, no issues at all. Okay, so we gone over the physical aspects. Now let's go over the actual sound of the buds. So starting off with the bass, I wouldn't say this is a bass headset. A lot of earbuds usually don't have a lot of bass. This bud actually has a good amount of bass. It's not a lot, but the quality of the bass is actually pretty good, and it actually has a good amount of extension. You can still get those lower frequencies. They're there in, you know, bassy songs with a lot of good sub bass. You'll get the layers, you'll get the sound, you'll get the rumble too, but it's just not as pronounced due to the, you know, bud fit, roll off, and it's just not as much. Mid bass itself is, I wouldn't say too prominent. It is present, but not in an intrusive way. It's just, it makes itself known. It's nice, solid, but not intrusive. It doesn't interrupt, it doesn't overwhelm, but you can hear it very well. And again, the bass is well layered. There is good dynamics within the bass. It does feel alive and not flat. So low quantity on the bass, but good quality on the bass. And now moving on to the mids. Mids are actually full bodied. They don't feel recessed or anything at all. In my experience, usually earbuds actually have very good mids just by default. The mids on the Alpha 3 are very good. They're, again, just full, rich. They resonate very well. Timbre in the mids, it's pretty good. And going into the upper mids, there's actually a good gain there. So female vocals are intense. They do have that intensity I enjoy. Some people might even consider the set a little shouty, actually, due to that upper mid gain. But for me, it is not. I actually really like the way the mids are done on this. It's a very balanced, neutral approach, but it gives you that full, rich experience. All right, so going past the mids into the treble, it does feel like there's an actual dip there in the presence region or slightly after, going into the mid treble. So while the female vocals have that intensity I mentioned, they lack a little bit of that sharpness or that wispiness that I really like. They're full bodied, but just not as sharp and not as piercing, which depending on who you are might be good or bad. Cymbal strikes sound just a bit cut off, might be because of that. I wouldn't consider this a very bright set, but it's also not too dark. Some people might consider this kind of dark, but just in my listening experience, it was okay, just mostly missing that sharpness in the female vocals. Anything else was fine. And then going into the air, it felt fine. It was acceptable. I usually like more air to get that more open feeling, but it being a bud just felt open by default anyways. And the separation and imaging being so good makes this feel like a very detailed set. You're getting a lot of macro details because of it. So that helps with detail retrieval and makes it feel very detailed. You hear a lot of little nuances in music. You feel the sound moving. Individual sounds can stand out, not in a rude way. They are engaging, but not interrupting the music itself. So it makes for a very fun and engaging experience. But like I mentioned, due to that treble dip, while it has a good amount of macro detail retrieval, the micro details, which to me is the resolution and incisiveness of the macro details, is not quite there. So while you're getting a lot of details, they're just not as defined as I would like them to be. Again, this is more of a nitpick since the set is so good in general for the asking price. Stage on these feels actually a little bit bigger than average, even for an earbud. It's not huge, but it's pretty deep. So you get a good amount of sideways space, but then it has some depth to it. And again, since the separation is so good, it just helps make that a little bit bigger, puts a little bit more distance in between stuff, but not in an immersion breaking way where you can continue to enjoy the music, but then at the same time you can enjoy the technicalities that it brings. So again, just to recap, Alpha 3, $80 set, fantastic build, great accessories like Dunu always does. Sound is pretty good, especially if you enjoy good mids and I wouldn't say analytical, but more of a technical performance. Very engaging, very fun, well-rounded, and works with a lot of different genres. Basically anything that I tried with them worked completely fine. My nitpicks are, again, I wish I had a little bit more air and was a little bit brighter. If it was a little bit brighter, it would just be more my preferred tuning style. But even without that, it's just still a very great set. And I could easily recommend this even at, I don't know, twice the price. There's not very many commercial options in the flathead market, in my opinion, at least not like we have with IMs. So it's nice to see an established brand make a commercial option for flatheads, and I really hope that other brands follow suit, because every transducer type has its pros and cons and they all have their place. I feel like any collection could have a flathead or a headphone and an IEM, and there's a use case for each one. But anyways, that is my review for the Dunu Alpha 3. If you have any questions, anything I might have missed, go ahead and ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to each and every one of you. We do have a Patreon up. Again, it is only a low tier for general support of the channel. So if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to it. It really helps out with shipping costs and Sunny treats. Also, we are very close to 500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so as well, since those imaginary numbers really help the fun, happy chemicals in my brain. But anyways, I am Awesome Danny, and until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.